right, guys, so as I previously stated, because I had no voice yesterday and I'm struggling through this one, so thanks for understanding. Getting better though, I'll be all right tomorrow. Second video today to make up for the lack of a video last night on the 14th. As we discussed in one of my videos a few days ago, Donald Trump had taken a shot at Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos and said that he was going to implement some new tax laws. And it looks like the Supreme Court is willing to hear the argument for eBay, Amazon, and e-commerce online selling platforms to auto-collect sales tax for every single transaction. Now, I'm going to go over to my computer and show you guys this little story, and then I want to discuss what I think the pros and cons are of this and how it may or may not affect small sellers, medium sellers, large sellers, the whole gambit of online e-commerce sellers. And I'm going to try to do it quickly because my voice is already starting to fade, so I'm going to get through this, but I think it's real important that you guys hear this because the sales tax law could affect all of us, and it's really, really important, and it could be in effect as soon as 2019, which is next year, or possibly 2020 at the latest. So let's take a look at my screen and then we'll talk about it from there. Okay, as promised you guys and what we talked about last week, here is my screen share. The Supreme Court will weigh letting states collect sales tax on e-commerce sales. So the Supreme Court has agreed to hear South Dakota versus Wayfair Incorporated. If you're not familiar with Wayfair, they are a company that sells through Walmart. They sell furniture. My bar stools are actually from Wayfair. It's a challenge to a decade-old ruling that exempted sales by e-commerce companies from collecting state and local sales tax. The old ruling is 1992's Quill Corp versus North Dakota. Quill Corp is like a business supply. They sell bubble wrap and envelopes and all kinds of stuff like that. It established a lasting precedence that states could tax only sales by businesses that reside within the state's borders, which we all know if you're inside the state, you have to charge sales tax to customers in the state. Even though the case concerned a mail order company, the decision has been used by internet companies to avoid collecting state and local sales tax. So it is basically up to the third-party seller to do it. So critics of the 92 decision say it no longer fits a world where much of our commerce happens, at least in part, online, which is very true. The Government Accountability Office estimates had they been allowed, states and local governments could have collected, hold on to your pants, guys, $13 billion in additional taxes on online sales. The online retailers Wayfair, Overstock, and Newegg, all three pretty popular companies, will be lining up against the state of South Dakota in the High Court, in the Supreme Court. Amazon, which isn't directly involved in the case, already collects sales tax on products it sells under its own brand. Meaning if you buy like an Amazon Fire Stick or an Amazon Echo or whatever they are, you do pay sales tax no matter where you are. But it could be forced to require that all third-party sellers collect sales tax too. So what is this going to mean? The problem is this is going to, every single customer that buys from you is going to pay you a sales tax amount based on the sales tax percentage of the state they're in. My question, and it will remain until I hear otherwise, how are we supposed to pay sales tax to every single state? So as an Amazon seller, for those of you that are Amazon sellers and those of you that are not Amazon sellers, pay attention. If you have inventory stored at an Amazon warehouse in another state, you are technically supposed to contact that state. I'll take me, for example, I'm in Florida. Everybody that pays me or buys from me that's located in Florida, I'm supposed to collect sales tax on, or just go ahead and write a check to the state of Florida, which is very easy. I just log into my Florida's website and pay my sales tax, and that's that. However, if somebody's in Texas and Amazon has some of my inventory stored in Texas, I'm supposed to go out on the internet or go through the mail and contact Texas, apply for a sales tax certificate in Texas, get set up, and then keep track of all my Texas customers, total up their amount, and write Texas a check. Well, imagine if you have inventory in 10 or 12 or 15 states, because Amazon constantly has you mail stuff across the country. Well, that's going to be a real pain in the butt to have to go through 10, 12, 15 states to apply for sales tax, keep track of it, sort it, pay it. That's insanity. All different dates for some states. Imagine if you had to do it for all 52 states. There's no way they could expect a third-party reseller on Amazon or on eBay for that matter to do that. So they're either going to have to come up with a centralized place to make the payments, all one payment, and they're going to have to total it up for you or have a way to total it or something, because this is absolutely incredibly unfair thinkable to have to make us do. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody correct me on this. The other issue that some people are saying, but I don't think is a problem, is if one person is forced to collect that all of us are, they're going to make all of us. So there's not going to be any advantage for one seller over another because everyone is going to have to pay sales tax. So if my item is $10 and your item is $10, and the sales tax here is 7% and yours is 8%, well, they're going to have to pay me $10.70 if they buy from me and $10.80 from buying from you, depending on what state you're located in, depending on what state they're located in, etc. So you could lose sales based on having a smaller sales tax percentage in your state or their state, but I really don't see a huge difference in, competitiveness between smaller or bigger companies simply because every customer is going to be forced to pay sales tax. There's not going to be any more logging into eBay and buying a t-shirt for $10. It's now $10.70. Just like if you went out to, Target or Walmart or something and bought it, it's not a $10 shirt, it's $10.70. So don't be worried about that. And so I'm going to be interested to keep track of this. I'll keep you guys updated. It's a very crazy story. We could see this happening in the next year or two. I think if the Supreme Court weighs in on it, I think the Supreme Court with that number, that $13 billion, is a big enough number that they're going to really have to consider this. So make sure you just keep an eye on it. Again, I will update you guys if it becomes law, if and when. It would have a long way to go. It'd have to go through Congress. It'd have to go through the Senate. It'd have to get approved by Trump. It would have to go a long way, depending on how long it takes. If it takes longer than 3 years, then it would have to be approved by our next president. There's a lot of steps, but the fact that the Supreme Court is going to hear the case is pretty telling. That $13 billion is a big enough number that a lot of people are taking a lot of interest in this. So keep an eye on it. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Sorry about the voice. Hopefully it's back to normal tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, I will see you guys then. In the meantime, check out the description box down below for all my links, eBay store, Amazon links, everything. No matter how you get to eBay or Amazon using those links, no matter what you buy, if you do, it helps me. So really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow, Tuesday, January 16th.